11. The Star Darlings stood in the wings, 5 ready to perform, 7 there for emotional support, waiting nervously as Vivica's band finished its set. Leona had a grim look on her face, and Gemma wondered if it had the tiniest bit to do with the fact that the band actually sounded pretty good. A huge roar went up when they were done. The crowd apparently loved Vivica and the Visionaries. When the crowd quieted down, Lady Cordial began to speak. And now, introducing our final contestants. Scarlet on drums, Sage on lead guitar, Libby on keytar, Vega on bass guitar, and Leona on lead vocals. Starlings, I introduce you to the Star Darlings. The girls ran out to polite applause. Astra peeked out at the crowd and gasped. Oh my stars! Lebo is here. I don't think he has any idea what he is getting himself into. Who knows how tonight will end? Despite her nervousness, Gemma took a peek. When her eyes fell on the boy, she could understand Astra's interest. Lebo, with his dark skin and shock of blonde hair, not to mention his excellent bone structure, was stellarly cute. Lady Cordial stepped off stage and smiled and nodded as she walked by the girls. A shiver, of either excitement or dread, she couldn't be sure which, ran down Gemma's spine. The band began to play. The crowd was quiet at first, but as the music grew louder and faster, they began to get into it, dancing and cheering. Each band got to play 3 songs. After playing together and star-crossed, the Star Darlings launched into Wish Upon a Star, which turned out to be a real crowd-pleaser. When the girls were done, they took a bow. The crowd roared. Lady Cordial scurried back on stage, clapping her hands. Star salutations, Star Darlings, on a job well done, she cried. She shielded her eyes with her hand as she scanned the wings. And now, I will call all of the Star Darlings on stage. Come on, girls, don't be shy. Gemma started. What was Lady Cordial doing? The Starling Academy students only knew about Star Darlings the band. She wasn't the only one who was confused. The band members stood there, still holding their instruments, looking at each other. Yes, all of you, said Lady Cordial. Gemma, Aurora, Astra, Cassie, Piper, Clover, and Tessa. Please, come join us on stage. Not sure what else to do, the rest of the girls walked out and stood, blinking in front of the crowd. Lady Cordial smiled at them. Before we name the winner of the Battle of the Bands, I have an announcement to make. Here before you stand the real Star Darlings. I don't mean the band. I am talking about 12 of your peers who were secretly hand-selected as the best of Starling Academy. And believe it or not, these brave girls have all secretly gone down to Wish World on missions to collect wish energy to help stop the shortage that has befallen Starland. There was a loud gasp as the students took in this shocking news. Gemma glanced at her sister, who looked as puzzled as she felt. Why was Lady Cordial doing this? Tessa reached over and grabbed Gemma's hand, which made Gemma feel a tiny bit better. Gemma stared at Lady Cordial. She suddenly realized something. Lady Cordial hadn't stuttered a single syllable since she had revealed the Star Darlings. And something else was different. Was it possible that Lady Cordial looked taller than usual? What in the stars was going on? Lady Cordial continued. There were 12 missions in total. The last mission was taken by Gemma, who returned just star mins ago. Thanks to her hard work, the wish energy imbalance is about to be readjusted. Gemma, will you please step forward? Gemma gulped, dropped Tessa's hand, and did so. Lady Cordial next reached into her pocket and pulled out Gemma's wish orb, still shiny and glittery. But then she did something strange. Lady Cordial blew on the orb, and the glitter fell away, revealing that it was dark and murky. Everyone gasped. It was a bad wish orb. So that's what happened, Gemma thought. It was a bad wish from the beginning. She turned to Lady Cordial again, and she suddenly realized that her eyes hadn't been playing tricks on her. Lady Cordial was transforming before their very eyes, from the frumpy, awkward, and unremarkable headmistress to a tall and imposing presence. Her neat purple bun had been replaced by lank gray hair. Her plump cheeks were becoming thin and sunken, and her skin, once bright and sparkly like that of most starlings, was now dull and ashen. But Gemma could only focus on her eyes. They glittered coldly. It was hard to look away. But she did notice that the stage was suddenly surrounded by a squadron of Bot-Bot guards, all there to protect Lady Cordial. I, Rancora, in the guise of silly, stuttering Lady Cordial, tricked Gemma into granting a bad wish, crowed the villainess. And now, thanks to her, the balance has been shifted to negative wish energy, just as I planned. The crowd gasped again. Someone screamed. Lady Stella, who had been watching from a distance, took a step forward. She stared up at the woman on the stage, and a wave of recognition crossed her face. Rancora, she whispered solemnly. Gemma's stomach lurched. She could hardly believe what she was hearing. This changed everything. Her mission hadn't been a good wish gone bad at all. It was out and out, no question about it, a bad wish that she had granted. The negative energy she had collected would be too strong and powerful. Her mission had been a huge mistake. She had fallen for Lady Cordial's, Rancora's trick. And now everything was ruined. Forever. Gemma wanted to run far, far away, but some terrible force held her in place. She watched in horror as the bulging, blackened orb lurched toward her, closer and closer. It hovered in front of her, mere star inches from her face, and she almost couldn't breathe. What have I done? She thought, nearly overcome with despair. But then, as if in a trance, she held out her hand. The orb settled in her outstretched palm. A lovely, warm feeling ran up her arm and coursed through her. And suddenly she realized what had happened. By turning the bad wish into a good one, she must have reversed the orb. Before Gemma's eyes, the orb transformed from a dark, misshapen thing into a beautiful, glowing sphere. It felt warm and smooth and good. She felt strong and powerful as she held the orb above her head in triumph. Yes, I was tricked into granting a bad wish. But what you don't know is that I turned that wish orb into a good wish orb, Rancora. Now watch! Before everyone's eyes, the orb turned into a flower, a beautiful chatterburst, a vibrantly bright orange blossom, fairly bursting with energy. The wish blossom swiveled around to face Gemma as she inhaled its sweet orange vanilla scent. As she stared at its filaments, hung with glowing stardust, it suddenly opened, revealing her power crystal, a lustrous, egg-shaped scatterite, sprinkled with stardust on its perfectly smooth surface. It settled in her hand like it belonged there. Triumphantly, Gemma held the milky orange stone up to Rancora. But Rancora did not look scared, taken aback, or even slightly concerned. She just looked at Gemma's power crystal and laughed.